Can you feel your hearts? Can you reach inside of yourself, into the area of your heart, and feel an emptiness there? But the emptiness is not bad. The emptiness is very light. Very soft. Very loving and open. Then reach down a little lower into your gut. Feel your gut expand. You breathe in and contract when you breathe out. Let your awareness go between your diaphragm and your heart, down into your gut as it's affected by your expanding lungs. Feel the air coming and going inside and out of your lungs. Feel your lungs expand and contract. Feel the pressure on your stomach, how your abdomen bulges outwards. And feel lower into your genitals. Feel the entire pulse of life. Feel your energies within. And if you look within, see if you can see the light of consciousness. It's always there. And you might hear the sounds of consciousness too. Sometimes a high-pitched noise in either ear. Some people call it tinnitus as a kind of defect. Others hear it as the song of God. Feel your bodies totally. Feel the muscles in your back. Are they tense? Are they loose? Relax them. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. Let it droop. Go deeply into your body. Go into your butt. Feel your butt against the chair, against the ground, whatever you're sitting on or resting on. Feel downwards into your feet and your calves if it's touching a chair. Feel how ecstatic the tingling can get with your attention on it. Feel the ecstasy of the tingling in your feet and your calves, extending upwards into your butt and genitals. And from there, beginning to move upwards into your gut, thence into your heart. And open yourselves to love. Open yourselves to being loved. Hear the love in my voice. Feel love in your heart. See love in the faces of others. Now relax into love. Feel into love. Feel into desire. Feel. The spirituality I teach has nothing to do with understanding. It's all about regaining the feeling life. I remember the first spiritual experience I had was when I was 11. I was reading a book called In the Woods of God Realization. Suddenly everything became white light. I felt ecstatic. I felt electricity going through my body. But it wasn't electricity, it was ecstasy. It lasted 30 seconds maybe, but it changed my life. My father died when I was 14 and it crushed me. That too changed my life. I became directed towards understanding the matter of life and death. What is life? What is death? Eventually, I was to give up the life of an academic, of a researcher, a city planner, become a wandering monk in the desert of Arizona. And thence to Philip Keplo in New York, Rochester. Zen master wrote 3 Pillars of Zen. Then to Mount Baldy under Sasaki Roshi. And all the time I was experiencing marvelous states generated by a strong meditation. States of oneness, states of nothingness, states of kundalini rising within, developing abnormal abilities like being able to see in the dark, feel the electromagnetic currents of the earth, feel electricity in wires in the walls. All entertainment from becoming hyper aroused and hyper aware through meditation. But I kept reading books about losing interest in the world, going within. And that's all I did, is go within by trying to find the source of I, where the I arises, where it disappears. I was with Robert, and that's what he taught, to follow the I thought. 27 years I went within. And what I found was emptiness, a vast inner emptiness that consumed all phenomena, all sensations. My body, the world around me, was permeated by emptiness. And the first Buddhist principle of reality is that form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Feeling, thought, and consciousness are also like this. Even consciousness is found and lost again. Even consciousness comes and goes. Everything comes and goes. But even consciousness and emptiness disappears someday into nothingness, which is the ultimate principle, nothingness. Everything arises out of nothingness. The universe arises out of nothingness and disappears into nothingness. The Big Bang and the dismal end of drying up over eons and eons. Following Robert's way, I saw the illusion of consciousness, the illusion of my own beingness, the illusion even of emptiness. The only absolute is nothingness, beyond time, beyond space, beyond life, beyond death. But it's not a very big reward. And out of emptiness, one day a woman came into my life. And I loved her as never before. And she loved me as never before. And I hear this story from many people. They were lost in emptiness. They were lost in the void. Or they were lost in the mundane life. Alone. Lonely. I watched Robert, who was the emptiest person I ever knew. But while Robert was always chasing women, he loved being around women. He loved being loved by women. And he loved loving women. All those years I spent in Zen, trying to be in emptiness and in the void, trying to penetrate the void to find out if there's something more absolute than the void. When I came out of meditation, I felt an emptiness inside because of a lack of love. I went to Sasaki Roshi and said, I love you very much. And he turned red, bright red, and said through an interpreter, you must never say anything like that. You must not. If anything, you can joke about it and say, I like your fat pot or your big ass or something like that, but joke about it. He said, there's no love in Zen. There's no love in Buddhism. There's no place for love in Buddhism. And that's what I was missing in Buddhism and in Zen. The love of a woman. Why? I don't know. I don't know. But when she came finally, after having been in many relationships, and she said in a husky voice, which I felt so deeply inside of me, she said, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I felt it. I felt it in my heart, and something switched there. It was like a light switch went on. And suddenly I felt complete. Something had happened, something had become unbroken in me. The part that had searched for love from a woman for so many years and had hidden behind a search for truth or emptiness or God was found in the love of a woman. And as we loved each other, we imagined ourselves throwing ourselves at the feet of the other. And at other times of being at the feet of God. We both had the same visions, identical visions. We even discussed them while they were happening. And in that surrender, that total surrender to the other, that total surrender to God, came liberation from me as Ed Muzika. Later on, the deepening of this love brought me to a place where I felt like I was love itself. The love had grown so big, so large, so extraordinary, that it totally occupied my mind and my body. I was love itself. I was not a human. I was not consciousness. I was not my body. I was this feeling of love, this ecstatic love, which permeated every pore of my body, every cell of my body, and my sense of presence all around my body and within. I was love itself. Can you feel that? Can you feel that inside of you? That desire for the other, whether it's another person or God. Can you feel that desire, that need for the other? This is so radically different from anything I had encountered in spirituality before. Meditation, quietness, seeking silence. Doing self-inquiry, gradually penetrating deeper and deeper sheaths or veils within the self to uncover the witness, which cannot be seen or felt or heard. And instead now, I was groveling at the feet of a woman, and she did the same with me. And we surrendered to each other. And in that surrender so sweet, God came in. I was empty of me, and the divine came in. The divine revealed itself to me, himself. I saw him as a him, as a form of energy, a being of light and energy, of joy, happiness, and love. And since that time, we've always been together. And I want to pass that joy on to you. I speak of this joy. I speak of this love. I want you to hear it. I want you to be able to feel it. As I circulate this amongst you now, by a direct reaching from my heart to your heart, from my gut to your gut. Feel me. Feel this love. Reach down into yourself and find the love you have for others. Find your need for love from others. Find your need to love others. And instead of running away from it, embrace it. Embrace your incompleteness and your desire for others. Desire for a woman or for a man to be in love with, to have sex with, to be ecstatic with, to walk hand in hand with, to have popcorn with that night, to sleep together, to touch each other completely in every way, and to feel this desire for the world, the desire to be alive and to remain alive, the desire to be creative, the desire to dance, the desire to play, the desire to laugh, the desire to feel electrified, ecstatic. You can feel that ecstasy. It's generated right now in the Sangha. But you have to be open to it, to feel the ecstasy in your body, in your heart. in your gut, in your chest, in your genitals, in your butt, in your thigh muscles, in your calves, in your feet, the bottom of your feet, in your shoulders, in your forearms and upper arms, even in your mouth and your throat, your third eye. It can be all ecstatic for you as often as you want. But you have to be able to fill yourself with desire, to feel aroused for whatever. Be aroused for God, to be aroused sexually, to be aroused by the joy of a cantata, to be a photographer and feel ecstatic seeing the sunset. This is a life of joy, not a life of emptiness, although the emptiness is always there. But there's such lightness and such joy and such ecstasy in always being aroused. You don't fight the arousal. You go with it. And it takes you into life. Yes, that life will end one day, but so what? Right now, you're fully alive. Fully alive. Every cell in your body is electrified, or can be. Feel the life force within. I'm sending him out to you now, or her, if you prefer, because she's androgynous, has both genders or none. Feel him or her in your heart now. Feel him or her in your guts and in your genitals and in your butt, permeating your body. Feel the life force caressing your life force. The life force of life in general, as it's manifested in its trillions and trillions of creatures. Each one of you is the life force, the spirit in the body. When you can recognize that life force in another, you'll know instantaneously that you're knowing God. Instantaneously, you'll know that you're knowing God. When you see the life force, the spirit in another, and worship that spirit, you'll be overcome with such joy that you'll fall to the ground, flat in prostration, to that other and to God. They're the same thing. This way you find God in yourself. This way you find joy and completion in yourself. This way you find love in yourself. A love so deep and so healing that you're complete. The love you've been looking for all your life in various relationships, each of which failed miserably to bring you what you wanted deep down inside, deeper than you ever knew even. Looking for human relationships to bring you out of loneliness and find out that they didn't. The loneliness, the fears, the sense of loss, of being strange or unloved continued even in all your relationships. It's because the love was not deep enough. When love becomes so overwhelmingly powerful that it's the only thing in your life, and you only want to surrender to the other, that's when you're on the verge of knowing God. Knowing yourself as God incarnated, yourself as God incarnated in another, and yourself and God, the eternal, the essence of the life force itself, spread throughout the galaxy. All these things you know when you surrender to another or to God or somebody. Many of you have cats. Cats are wonderful things to surrender to, but it's really hard to surrender that deeply to your cat, no matter how cute and loving it is. Angela has a fierce little guardian that comes to her in the night, an orange and white cat. Vesselina has the cutest black and white kitten. Spencer's got his own that he's summoning now. I have several myself. Cats are wonderful creatures. They tend to be rather sweet and gentle, except when they're not. But surrender to your cat. Feel the energies surrounding you in the room. Feel the energies within yourself, in your chest, in your throat, in your face, in your eyes, in your neck, in your gut, in your womb, in your genitals. Fire up your genitals. Feel the energy of arousal arising in you, spreading downwards into your ass and into your legs, calves and feet, and feel how ecstatic your body feels down there. And then have the energy move upwards slowly through the gut, the womb and the gut. And then like an electric orange, bright orange, molasses or honey, lick upwards into your heart and set your heart on fire with its sweetness, light, and love. You are it. You are the beginning and end of the world. That life force inside of you, that spirit inside of you, is what you really are, not the body. The body is your car, your vehicle, your sensors, which creates the external reality around you. But your spirit. And when you engage with other people, other life forms, in a sense, you're holding hands, spirit to spirit, human to cat, human to human. Feel the divinity in that other person. Worship the divinity in that other person. And by worshiping the divinity in that other person, find your own divinity. Yes, your mind will be quiet then, but it's not because you forced it to be quiet. but it becomes quiet because it's fixated on life, the sensations, the movements of energies. It becomes ecstatic in the presence of love, falling to your knees and to the ground in prostration, thankful for the grace bestowed upon you of feeling life within yourself, no longer wishing to know what to do with your life, but just the ecstasy of being in your own beingness, and knowing how love is such a gift to bring attention and awareness to the beingness inside of you that lusts and loves, desires. This lust for life hopefully doesn't make you cut your ear off like Van Gogh. But it's a lust for life, to live fully, completely, emotionally, lovingly, in ecstasy, and hopefully consummated in sexual bliss of an explosion so enormous you're blown away and just feel an ecstatic union with the other. And so much power you feel in that union. The energies so strong in your bodies, and you can't tell one body from the other. Just tremendous energy, tremendous bliss, tremendous love, all melted into one sensation. This is a story I tell now instead of talking about oneness or emptiness or nothingness. To me, those are so arid, so dry. I'm talking about fully reincarnating into your flesh, the flesh you began fleeing from the time you were 6 months old, fleeing from the pain of the world, of constantly falling down when you're trying to walk, falling down when you're learning how to run, falling off of bicycles, losing a mother or a brother or a father to death. All the terror of loss. So you begin to love less, be attached less, to become autonomous and need nothing. And gradually, though your body survives, you don't. You die to the life of your body. You die to the life of your spirit within that body by getting away from it so you don't have to suffer the ultimate death. But death, when it comes to someone who is open, can be the greatest bliss. A sensation like you've never had before of complete surrender to God, of complete surrender, which you experience in everyday life when you're with your beloved or would-be beloved, becomes total, absolute surrender when you die. What a moment to live for, when you can finally let go and relax completely and feel the ecstasies possible in your life form. I love you all. Are there any questions? Right now, feel into your chest and look into your chest. I used to ask it this way. Can you feel energy anywhere in your chest? Or the sense of being an I there as a location for yourself? But now I say, just feel within and also look within at the same time. Using both the visual sense, look into your body. And in that darkness that most people see when they try to look into their body, do you see any light? Some people see it quite easily. Others never find it. It took me about 6 months after opening my third eye before I was able to see light in total darkness all the time, everywhere. By seeing light behind my third eye, and gradually it expands downwards into my body and below my body into the earth and upwards into the heavens above, infinitely. The light of consciousness. Now immerse yourself, if you can imagine it, even if you can't see it, if you imagine the light in you and around you everywhere. You can make it any color you want. Right now, for me, it's golden, but often it's white. And immerse yourself into that light. For me, it's very sweet, very liquidy, like honey, warm honey that runs rather freely. Kind of looks like honey too, with that golden hue it can have. Imagine yourself suspended in this golden light. That is the light of consciousness, softened by love, hardened by lust. Now permeating that light everywhere is emptiness. Emptiness is everywhere. It's like the vacuum of a hard space in and around everything. All phenomena are permeated by emptiness. Consciousness is permeated by emptiness. All forms are emptiness, and emptiness becomes all forms. And here we are, bathed in this golden light, listening to my words, feeling your body, knowing other people are out there when we open our eyes and see the screen. Try to feel the golden light. It has its own sweet sensation. Feel the love within that golden light. Feel the serenity in that golden light that comes from having been healed by the golden light and the love of another. If you can take it in, Know that I love you. And let that knowingness heal you of feelings that you're not good enough to love, or that your love is imperfect and you don't deserve perfect love. That's a story you tell yourself. How do you stop that story except by a new story? The story you're loved by me and by others. You don't imagine it, it's true. You're well loved. Any questions?
Hello, Ed.
Hi.
Just a few comments. Thank you for everything so far and all that. So I definitely feel what you're talking about. I have for a long time, and it's getting stronger and more steady. And the love I feel is for myself, which I feel like a field of energy, a field of awareness, which has its own presence, its own dimensionality. It feels like a circulating field of force, of energy, of largely of when I'm really communing with it, very blissful and euphoric. And definitely it has its own architecture of circulation. So I can feel parts of me part of my energy seeming to flow along with this field in different architectures of like different motions and stuff and different velocities, while at the same time I'm utterly still. I'm moving as well. Like I'm moving as if in a cloud of euphoria, a cloud of force, a cloud of strength and power and bliss. And I see my ongoing practice as basically abiding in this, strengthening it, and embodying it fully, even in the most trying of mundane tasks, and through tiredness, through having to do repetitious stupid things. And I just want to also add that this energy field, I've been feeling it for a long time, and it's definitely me, and it's always already existing, and it has its own intelligence and its own construction. And either I'm closer to it, or I'm farther. Like either I'm obstructed from it, or I'm open and abiding in it. And it's more and more. There's like an aperture within me, which is allowing stronger communion with it. And it's just like you say, like mostly almost exactly what you say, but me. So it's imbued with me. So that's all I want to say, Ed.
Very good. Very good. That's a good message that you have. The other part of my teaching is not only this story, but there are so many stories around in the world that we are owned by. The story of Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism or communism or Trumpism or democracy. These are big stories involving millions and millions of people. And all these stories live in us unless we learn how to reject them and live without stories. But the story that Mark was just talking about, and the story I was presenting before that, was a story about joy and ecstasy in life, not in withdrawing from life, not by going so deep in life that you avoid life, but life coming from love that arises in a mundane world and transforms that world into an ecstatic divine world from within. We become lit up by our own energies, our own desires, our own loves. And we pass out of mundaneness, the ordinary world, into a world of power and light and joy and ecstasy, because we're always very alive. The life force is hot in us. Every moment of the day, we burn brightly. We burn in desire for another. We burn in desire for God. We burn in desire for each other and communion with each other. Does that message reach you? Burn brightly, my friends, my family, my loves. Burn brightly. Allow yourself to explode with desires, with feeling. Don't run from the feelings, but let them overtake you and throw you to the ground. No matter what the feeling is, whether it's depression or loss or happiness and joy or a feeling of success, whether it's a sexual feeling or a pain that overtakes you. Feel it fully. Don't hide from it. Don't reject it. Feel it fully. And when death comes, you can enjoy it. That last final surrender of Christ dying on the cross and letting go and being received by God. Final reward, total surrender, letting go. Any questions? Well, no questions. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bring your bodies. You need them in order to see me, to hear me. Spencer, bring your cat. Vesselina, bring your cat. Angela, bring your cat. Maria, find a cat. I'll bring my
I
cat.
have a cat.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's gray, isn't it?
Yes.
Bring your cat. Michael, bring one of our cats too. I love you all. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.